Disclaimer: the content provided in this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. While we discuss topics related to mental health advice, life wisdom, and alike, the opinions expressed are personal views of the hosts and do not constitute professional, legal, or medical advice. We make no representations or warranties about the accuracy or completeness of the information discussed. Any action you take based on the information in this podcast is strictly at your own risk, and we are not liable for any losses or damages in connection with its use. Additionally, this podcast may contain discussions around addictions, substances, which are intended for adult audiences. We do not endorse any illegal activities. Please consult your local laws before engaging in any actions related to this content. By listening to this podcast, you agree that you are over the age of 18 or the age of majority in your jurisdiction and understand the terms of this disclaimer.
Welcome to the Balancing Forces podcast, where two opposites collide in the best way possible. One brings the fire,
the other keeps it chill.
But together we share life's lessons, hard-earned wisdom,
advice you can actually use.
Whether you need a fresh perspective or just a laugh, we're here to elevate your mind. So buckle up, because things are about to get real and
really funny.
Are you ready to level up your astrology game? Join the Alchemist Laboratory by Solar Systems. For just $33 a month, you get access to 10+ courses, a resource library, manifestation secrets, live Q&As, and so much more. Over $2,300 in value. Transform your understanding of astrology and unlock hidden knowledge. Sign up now through the school app and follow Solar Systems on TikTok and Instagram.
Chapter 37, Grandma Charlotte's Wisdom on Parenting the Soul. Part of the solution necessary to either counteract negative messages that have been placed inside kids, i.e., the closing of the 3 binary gates, or to short-circuit the gates ever being closed in the first place, is that a divorce must occur. It must be repetitively placed in the child's head that his or her actions are, to a very, very large degree, not his or her identity. One of the single greatest gifts I was given as a child was from my mother, who was extremely deliberate and disciplined in conveying the message when I screwed up: "You are not a bad person, you just did a bad thing," and "You are not a dumb person, you just did a dumb thing." I heard this one a lot. For it is far too easy for a child's spirit to believe that the criticisms about a particular action indicate the inherent nature of a child's character and worth. Mummy said I did a bad thing again. I must be a bad person. Or Dad keeps saying I'm lazy. I must be lazy. I'm no good. The child isn't doing this consciously. Instead, organically, the child equates commentary on his actions with commentary on his worth and existence, unless there is a deliberate, repeated effort by the primary power sources and love sources to divorce action from identity. The greatest damage is done to the soul when the individual actions are linked to identity. A child may screw up a million times in a multitude of different ways over the course of a childhood. All of us did as kids. Heck, I screw up a million times over a multitude of different ways before noon each day, and they call me an adult. So if each of those very natural screw-ups is never delinked from the child's identity or sense of self, that child will believe he or she is a total screw-up. And it won't take 10 or 15 years for that to happen. It'll happen by age 3 or 4. As long as behaviors in a child are linked to identity, the spiritual development of this child is toast. The binary gates will close early and close hard. And the real tricky part, stick with me here, is that into adulthood, a person's actions do, in fact, more greatly indicate the nature of their character and worth. But the notion that children, say under the age of 12, are engaging in anything that is truly generated from their own self, causa sui, and not some direct or derivative result of their parental programming is, more or less, nonsense. A child's actions are almost exclusively an indicator of the parent's character and personality, not the innate nature of the child. For from 0 to 11 years old, and too often far longer, the child is a little more than an extension of the parent and their values. So to punish or criticize the child for actions is iffy business at best, because it is hardly an exhibition of their own character and more of a manifestation of what they've been taught. Thus, while the children are young and still in the business of determining right and wrong action and who they really are, it's quite unfair to allow for even the remote possibility that they might start to believe something is wrong with who they really are, rather than just how they're acting. That's why it demands deliberate effort to specifically convey to the child that this criticism is not a reflection of who they are, but merely how they're acting in the moment. You are not a bad person, you just did a crummy thing. The child has no autonomous sense of self yet. Thus, the criticism of the action must be divorced from the criticism of the person, which is far more powerful and permanent. Conversely, the core identity must be affirmed, and even more importantly, with that affirmation, there must be an ongoing recognition in the head of the parent from the beginning of the child's life that he or she is an autonomous being that must one day be let go of, and that letting go must start sooner rather than later. She once told me that it wasn't until her late 30s that she began to both live and parent deliberately, and everything changed, she said. My mother was adamant in saying, "You are not a bad, dumb, irresponsible, lazy person. You just did a bad, dumb, irresponsible, or lazy thing." The long-term effect in my family of origin is that 6 kids and now our own adult children grew up and now live without the hypercritical self-judgment of every mistake. In families where action is divorced from identity and a child, the fear of failure is radically reduced. The capacity to shrug off mistakes and move on is increased. More, the innate sense of self-worth is never undermined from inside or even questioned, because it was deliberately and repeatedly affirmed. A base reservoir of love is firmly established in the love cup, thus possessing self-love and self-respect, as is a child's nature. The child, and later adult, goes out into the world already imbued with a moral imperative to treat others as he or she has been treated, which is only with love and respect. Journaling recommendation. 1. Are you parenting deliberately, or are you simply doing that which your parents did, or just the opposite of what they did? Neither of the latter two are true deliberate parenting. Neither is parenting's third path. 2. What is it you're screwing up on in your parenting? What do you know you need to change to begin to parent more deliberately? From what to what? 3. Do you have the courage to change? 4. Do you have the wherewithal and presence of mind in the moment to convey to your child that he or she isn't a bad person, but just did a not so good thing? Or are you undisciplined in the heat of the moment, such that you lash out or say something potentially hurtful to the soul of your child? Do you need to widen the amount of time between stimulus and response? 5. Are you careless with your words in your parenting? So remember, we're giving away this signed autograph copy of There's a Hole in My Love Cup. To enter, just like, subscribe, and comment. Also, sign up for our Beacons link to get into the giveaway. Thank you very much for tuning in. Stay amazing, stay awesome, and remember always to keep it real.